Okay, one, two, go. Hello, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, as first, depending on your time zone. I'm live and direct here to discuss and analyze issues of importance. I would want you to join us and, of course, share this video. Let others get to join us because we have a very important subject to discuss. And, of course, you can express your own opinion based on the subject of discourse and the events surrounding this as it borders on your concerns and existence. I welcome you wherever you might be watching us or you might be joining us this moment. I remain Chico Zendebo, the host anchor and moderator to this discussion. Thank you once again. It's been a while. We came live, but today we are live and direct to keep it real and unbiased reportage of events as it continues to unfold. Information reaching us according to Sahara reporters, the Nigerian government and its security operatives has been having some sort of discrepancies in most recent times as Nigerian soldiers lament while they are in the bush fighting terrorists. Our families in Bruno Barracks suffers lack of electricity, water supply. While that is quite very disturbing, as the Nigerian soldiers who has been mobilized to fight the insurgency, the supposed terrorists are claimed, laments of the poor infrastructures or basic facilities made available to their families, that their families are suffering from eclectic power supply, just as every other Nigerian could also experience such. Is very disturbing one. That is to say that this is not just peculiar to the civilians. Even the military also suffer the same uh, unfortunate experience, regardless that they put their lines in line to defend the territorial integrity. Today they are saying that how can we be fighting terrorists, putting our lives in line just to defend the territorial integrity of the Nigerian state, while our own families, our children, our wives are just wallowing in deep abject poverty, stricken in deep abject poverty. Provisions has not been made for electricity, tap, tap water for them, access to electricity, other basic amenities is becomes a very worrisome uh, issue to discuss, and this demoralizes them, and they have to come out to lament, according to Sahara reporters. According to them, their family members, okay, who have businesses, are struggling to keep their enterprises running, with many already counting losses. With many counting losses because of the eclectic power supply. That if you are running a business without lights, I wonder how such person will succeed. Even a country as Nigeria, we are going to review that and many other things. Of most recent, before he was confirmed the chief of army staff, while he was acting as the chief of army staff, um, Fayemi or Olufemi, of course, said that the government of Nigeria, the Senate chambers, should review the salaries and allowances of Nigerian soldiers. That it is nothing to go take home, it's nothing to write home about. And now he has been confirmed as the substantive army general or chief of army staff. I hope he will do the needful. And sometimes when they get there, they tend to forget themselves. But that is not where I'm heading to today. It's very unfortunate that even those who should be considered as the most privileged citizens, I mean the Nigerian soldiers, are still lamenting. Their own families are living in the most deplorable, abject poverty. If you don't have light, what else can you have? I mean, light that was conquered by Michael Faraday more than 4 to 5 centuries ago. Nigeria is still trying to fight to survive. Well, that is very unfortunate. Then, away from that, we are also to discuss the trip of the president down to the France and South Africa. His intentions and perceptions of people regarding these current trips, as Nigerians has widely condemned the incessant travels on the part of the president and his vice, that these have not in any way yielded any economic revival or has attracted any foreign investment. Rather, most foreign investors are winding up on daily basis, and this could inform the reasons why the Nigerian state has remained economically backward or relegated among community of nations. And that have widely impacted on the economy, the exchange rate. Nigerian currency happens to be one of the lowest in Africa. You can imagine the cities of Ghana, the Cephas, or cities of Cephas. I mean, they are now ruling over the Naira uh, by far. And that is a testament to the fact that the Nigerian government and this security and economy is in jeopardy. Amidst all this, it's quite fascinating and very disturbing why the government of Nigeria continue to spend so much resources embarking on foreign trips. About 29 foreign trips have been embarked by the current president of Nigeria ever since he assumed office. But that notwithstanding, of course, we understood the cost implication, how to fuel the jet, the latest jet he procured at the expense of Nigerian liberty and progress. Because if such money had been invested to revamp the economy, you know what that means. You bought yacht, and as people are still complaining about that, you went and bought another, the latest private jet, as the 10th president of the Senate Assembly considers that to be a necessary end in order to preserve the life of the president. Well, I'm not in any way disputing the fact that the security of the president of Nigeria should be prioritized, but faulting the Senate 10th Assembly Senate Fabio, who said that even the life of the entire Nigerian, 200 Nigerians, is less important to compare with the life of Nigerian citizens. That reveals the level of personalities and character within the corridor of power. It's quite unfortunate. Nigeria should be prioritized. I mean, the Nigerian citizens should be given more priority, and instead, the government should make sacrifices to enhance the well-being, the living standard of Nigerians. Even the living standard of the military families, personnel, are not even lifted, elevated, let alone the bloody civilians, as they some describe the vulnerable masses. It's quite unfortunate. If the militaries can be lamenting this way, then what hope is left for the ordinary citizens? Of course, everybody to himself, God to us all. If you don't let the devil take you. As you join us, this is called Web TV, where we have interactions and deliberations on issues of importance as it borders on existence and humanity. Kindly hit the like buttons, as I will appreciate that, so that YouTube algorithm can get this video across to other viewers who will be interested in what we are discussing. Is of importance and of necessity that we do so. Thank you once again as you comply with this simple rule of engagement. Kindly hit the like button, share this video, let it go viral, and others get to join us. According to Sahara reporters, some Nigerian soldiers at the 7th Division my Mala my Malari military cantonment in Meduguri, Borno State in northeast Nigeria, have said that the military facilities for months has been lacking basic amenities such as electricity and water supply. This is for months. How long that has been is just only God knows, and them themselves. Well, this is quite very frustrating. I hope the appropriate authorities will do the needful, especially in the in best interest of humanity, not just because of the military. Because sometimes the military are the architect of their problems, because oftentimes they have been used as instruments of oppression, intimidation against the masses who eventually were fighting for their own liberty, for their own good and welfare. Yes, this happened in the most recent 20 October 20 2020, where the NSACs were gruesomely brutalized or murdered by some under the military camouflage, and yet none had been uh, as is good for them. As I learned of recent, some retired military personnel were lamenting that their arrears, their gratuity or pensions has not been paid. It is good. While you are serving as a military man under khaki, you want to brutalize or be used as an instrument of oppression against the people when even they are fighting for your interest, for your common good at the last, at the end of service. You also rejoin the people and also queue up for your own gratuity and pensions. Now you are lamenting that your pensions are not being paid, they are being delayed for months. You're not joining the wagon, the queue of the bloody civilians you were used as an instrument of oppression. Well, it is very unfortunate, but then that is a reality. What comes around goes around. Well, it's better we use our senses. Well, some Nigerian soldiers have made this very shocking revelation, but that wasn't a surprise to anyone who understood the state of uh, dilemma or predicaments where Nigerians are found or tapped into. It's very disturbing then. It's not a matter of laughing or celebrating at all. It does not call for that. It calls for sober reflections and the state of the nation today. Is left, sorry, nothing to be desired about the Nigerian state. In fact, for just sample opinions and you get to know the truth and what is happening about the Nigerian state. It's quite very unfortunate, but that is the reality happening. Even the soldiers with their morals, with their can come out and express some level of frustrations. Yes, it's an expression of frustration that while they are fighting, combating, subjecting themselves to all form of pains and agonies, sleeping over the night and all that. Even their families they left home don't have electricity for months, don't have power, I mean supply. It's quite very disturbing that in most government facilities, even general hospitals, there are no water supply. I'm witness, I've been there, of course, for two consecutive times. My son was operated, underwent or undergo a surgical operation on the April this month, and of course in November this month. So it's quite a very disturbing case when you see certain basic amenities lacking where it shouldn't, where such shouldn't be mentioned in the first instance. How much does it take to supply the community, the hospital communities, stable water supply? That people, even the patients, has to go be looking for water. The PVC systems, most of them are not working. I mean, I really encourage and I really appreciate the medical personnel. They are really trying, even in the midst of all this horrible working environment. They are even relatively putting in their best, regardless of whatever menial allowances are clear to them at the end of the months. They are trying. The medical personnel, honestly, I give them kudos. In the midst of all these challenges, they still has some of courage to deliver service, selfless service to humanity. I think they need to be appreciated more than is happening now. Well, these soldiers insisted. Now you can hear it. What I said is a level of frustration expressed. They added that due to the poor power supply, powering of water pumping machines in the cantonment is now difficult. You see, basic necessities to that effect. The soldiers insisted that their families are being subjected to acts of suffering while they are in the forest fighting terrorists. You know what that means? They are now regretting for whatever sacrifice they may be making for the Nigerian government. Okay, there's no stable light in the my Malari military cantonment for over 2 months now. Okay, it's been specific. Out of the 24 hours in a day, we only have electricity for maximum of 3 hours. Some days it is a total blackout. No one of these soldiers told Sahara, okay, reporters, yeah, and it was confided on Sahara reporters under anonymous person. Okay, how can we sacrifice our lives for this country, yet our superiors officers are treating us like this? We leave our families daily in the barracks so they can enjoy basic things while we face the bush fighting Boko Haram and I, IS, okay, and other terror groups. Some of us are posted to secure Meduguri, okay, Damaturu Highway, both day and night, despite these harsh weather conditions, but our families are not benefiting right. They are treated like prisoners in the barracks. It's a BMO that removed the barracks lights okay, from the initial line that we do use. We are appealing to the new chief of army staff to please get us back to this line. Okay, I believe that the chief of army staff, the newly appointed or appointed chief of army staff, even before he was sworn in as the substantive chief of army staff, have begun to canvass and advocate for the welfare of the military. I know and do hope he will listen to this. Of course, do whatever is needful for them and their families to feel that sense of belonging or humanity, as the case is. Well, away from that, we are to review the continued incessant travel of the President Ahmed Bola Tinubu and his vice. While he was traveling, the vice is also embarking on incessant travels. And this is cost intensive. They are not just traveling for free, because any trip attracts some huge incentives, travel allowances, security allowances, and other logistics attached, running into millions, where they will park the private jet, the the fuel that could be consumed in this flight is all expense paid. It is telling on the Nigerian treasury amidst economic crisis where people can't feed even a meal, where Nigeria is being rated to be one of the most impoverished citizens of the world, where Nigeria is certified to be the center of poverty, and the government is busy embarking on incessant trips under the disguise of weighing investors. And unfortunately, that brings us back to the recent travel down to France. We are going to review that. Of course, of what economic importance is the travel to France, of course, Nigerians. You know, prior to this time, most African countries have rejected the neo-colonization of France, being that France is considered to be uh, a dictator, someone who usurped the rights and the resources of the African states and impoverished them, and at the end turned back to call them poor continents. Of most recent is Burkina Faso, Niger Republic, Mali. They refute the continued dominance of France government and the France people against the Africans, exploiting their resources at the expense of the indigenous people of the African state. Of course, to this extent, they have to revolt to remove the democratic president in those regions and eventually has to get it out of the way. It is quite unfortunate, and we don't accept that according to them. You cannot continue to impoverish our people and live at the expense of our citizens. They have to kick out the government of France, and now they are doing pretty well. They have discovered themselves. Self discovery is the way to liberty. You cannot continue to seek subjugation. You cannot continue to empower the Western people. You know, never meant well for your people. Just cite the African countries that have been colonized by France government. How are they? How are they moving? Are they developing? They are one of the most impoverished states in Africa. Why the France government cut away trillions of dollars from the African soil, mortgaging their life, their destiny, and everything, their resources at the expense of the masses. And the same people rejected the France, knowing that that is not the way to go, that their people has the right to good governance, have the right to good state of living. Today, the even Niger Republic, Burkina Faso are now being productive. They have engaged in production, which they have never experienced since the colonization of France governments. But today, they are doing well, building their own estate, engaging their own populations to productive activities, encouraging them to go into production. Do you know they have now power, stable power supply? They are building their own economy. Nobody can build your home more than you, no matter how they pretend. Other people can come and mess up your living room and get away because it doesn't care. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to them. No wonder, of course, an English proverb says, as you make your bed, you will lie on it. A foreigner is there for one important thing, exploitation. And no, the question is it that the Nigerian government are not aware of these realities? Now, go and check the development in France, the progress they have, in Mali, in Niger Republic, Niger here, and in other neighboring countries, Burkina Faso. They are doing pretty well for themselves because they said we rejected the, the territorial tendencies of the France government in position. How can a foreign government, the France government, will control their resources, their central bank, they control over 80% of the resources are accrued within the African states, will be invested in France in the name of France as the original owner. Why the Africans will be left at the mercy of the France suppression and exploitation. Today, Burkina Faso, today, Niger Republic are producing for themselves. They are manufacturing. Because the young ones there have seen the level of oppression and suppression. The intention of France is to subject and subjugate the African countries perpetually into poverty and penury. Abject poverty, stricken poverty. Why ripping them off? Because the more you subject the people, the more you don't allow them to rise economically, to be empowered, to be independent, the more you subjugate them, the more you elongate their suffering and subjugation, the more you use the military economic power against them. That is the style of governance, in all those African third countries. Before their younger ones discover that we can't continue on this path of destruction. We have the resources. We have the enormous resources. that, of course, could make us the envy of the nations of the world. Why are we being exploited? And there is a conspiracy and collaboration with the supposed democratic governments within those regions. They said, we don't want those fraudulent presidents under the disguise of democracy. They are partnering with the oppressors to rob us of what it belongs to us, the life, the good life we should enjoy, the good basic facilities, amenities we should enjoy, and our families and children should enjoy, has been subverted by this conspiracy to rob the people. You become a servant to the new colonization and become a servant to the Western world at the expense of your people, and they will support and elegize you while they are ripping off your resources, and your own people are being impoverished. The same people will come back to tell you that Africans are poor. Why Africans have great potentials, endowed with so many resources, human and capital resources, of course, natural resources, but unfortunately, Africans citizens are drifting away in so many countries across the Asians, across the Western Europe, across Southern Europe, across America, North, South America, Latin American, and other languishing, being subjected as slaves and all manner of ailments that have been ill-treated. Why the same Western people are the ones sucking our resources, sometimes creating insecurity in order to tap the resources to distract the people, continue to exploit the people. Look at now, the South African government is now have indicated interest of on lithium found in Nigeria. Lithium. We have Californium, we have lithium, we have gold, we have iron ores, we have petrol, we have natural gas, we have zinc. Nigerians are in no state in this country that is not blessed, naturally blessed, richly blessed of God. But how many of this is reflecting in the life of an average Nigerian today? Except for the greedy few politicians who connive with this Western worlds to deny the people the right to live, the right to good governance, the right to basic amenities. What does it take to power a light in a cantonment? What does it take to give Nigerian citizens a stable power electricity? What it doesn't is not a rocket science. Each locality can be independent and produce what they can that would be enough to serve them. But where is the political will? Where is the sincerity? Where is the commitment to the welfare of the citizens? I'm very disturbed and disappointed. Well, I would not be the first person disappointed in Nigeria, just as Davido, of course, said that Nigeria is in shambles. He's ashamed. He's identified as Nigerian. And I spoke with one of the distinguished mothers of great repute. In London, he was asked, where do you come from when he went for some medical consultation. She said, the person attending to her asked her, where are you coming from? Where do you come from? She was ashamed to say he came from Nigeria because of her experience in the past and the current realities happening. Now, what should Nigeria be sold out by the current administration? Why should Nigerian government continue to have an affiliation, a romance with the same governments that have impoverished other African countries? You know that what they have done against our brothers in, in Niger Republic, in Burkina Faso, in Mali, in even Cameroon here. How developed are they? And you still want to hand over Nigeria to them? Woe France. What has France to do if not for exploitation? They come to steal, kill, and to destroy. They never meant well. If they meant well, they for more than decades, more than 50 years or more, they have been colonizing these countries, and yet they are nothing to write home about. The life living standard, everything about them is in zero level, and you want to embrace them. You want to welcome them to Nigeria to do what? They never meant well for you. You got to sit down and rediscover yourself. Re-evolution is what Nigerians is what Africa needs. And some argues that this move by the president Ahmed Bola Tinubu was to hamper the re-restoration declaration of the Biafran state, so that they can partner with those Western powers in exchange for their resources, which even Nigerian citizens have not benefited. So you want to mortgage the destinies of Nigerians. Look at trillions of naira being indebted, the debt profile. When will Nigerians pay this? And the government is still about, if we have lithium, if you have gold, if we have Californium, if you have all these resources that is being sought for globally, the world are envying Africans, are envying Nigerians, are envying every state in Nigeria. Why can Nigerians, why can Africans sit back and rediscover themselves? Now, South Africa want to build electric cars. You have in Nigeria young, vibrant, energetic, talented youths who are already manufacturing cars, designing cars. Why not support them? Why not harness the lithium and build facilities that can begin to produce electric cars in Nigeria that will empower the youth, create jobs, opportunities? Of course, more tax, and you are now increasing the tax reforms. What they are fighting in Senate is tax reforms. Who pay with the tax? Who go pay the tax? Not the person that is employed. More than 15